Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads, begging for referrals, or door knocking family and friends who, let's just be real, they don't give a shit. So, and just a weird statistic, did you know the average insurance agent makes $52,000 per year and over 90% give up in their first year? The top 1% doing anything with their license are making 5 to 10 times as much selling the exact same policies, earning between 150,000 a year and 500,000 a year. And it's not luck, it's leverage. So the secret is they are following a system to generate fresh, hot leads, book appointments, and close policies like clockwork. I've put together a no-cost blueprint for that system that shows you how to add $5,000 to $15,000 in additional monthly recurring income in under 90 days that you can access for free. Just go to writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link in the description. So without further ado, let's get into this. Today's guest is a guy named Ben Williams, who I just recently connected with. And Ben is an interesting guy. You see, not just because he lives close to me in Austin, not just because we have the same power alleys in our hairline, but because he has a six-figure income and he staffs virtual agents inside of agencies. He is an Army vet who has an incredible story about how he broke both of his legs, was told he would never walk again. So you're going to want to stay with us because he's going to drop some knowledge and share his story with us. So welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you very much. What an incredible intro and an amazing domain that you have of writemorepolicies.com. That's
Yeah, these things cost a little bit of money for domains like
yeah, yeah, no kidding. That would have to cost you a pretty penny, but that's a great domain. That's incredible.
Yeah, the first one I wanted was like 40 grand, and then this one ended up being 3,000. It was like I'll take the 3,000.
Dang, that's actually not bad for that though. That's pretty
No,
good for that domain.
it's not. So just based on personal experience, I know you're not an insurance agent, but just tell
Right.
me something you believe is the key to succeeding in this industry, just based on what you do know about it, that you think most agents completely overlook.
100%. So a little bit of background about me is I actually was a real estate brokerage owner and the director of sales over that. So I understood how to build a pipeline and how to build a repeatable process to generate income. So I coached probably 73 agents how to actually successfully sell their first house, make money, and actually begin to produce a pipeline that can make them money over the next 90 days. So, what I understood about business was you needed a repeatable process that you can systematize and hire out. So that way, the activity that the person that is actually running the business, or as the agent or the licensed insurance agent, whatever it's going to be, the number one activity they need to be doing is talking to new clients every single day. The
What a
more
concept.
the more that they get wrapped up in shopping renewals and following up with client care support and all these other activities, if you can hire it out, you're losing opportunity to generate new income. So I understood creating SOPs, hiring, leveraging other people, and actually generating a true business. So that's how I got into staffing virtual assistants. So a little bit around the world, but that's how I kind of answered the question. So
No, that's perfect. So what I kind of took out of that was don't get stuck doing the busy work.
nope.
Delegate that shit. That's how, Ben, just let me know, what is selling worth an hour? First off, what is the main driver of a business?
Selling.
Selling. So what is the
Yes.
highest paying activity you could be doing as an agent, a real estate agent, a doctor? It doesn't matter what you are. What
Yep.
is it?
Selling or training salespeople. That's it.
Selling.
Yep.
Now, how much in the average insurance agent, they probably make a couple $100 an hour to $1,000 an hour selling. That's
Correct.
more than a doctor. You make more than a doctor for every hour you sell. Now,
Yes.
Ben, what are you worth an hour when you're doing busy work, calling the carriers, doing
Well, I always look at it as what if I can hire something out for a dollar amount, how much is that worth? Because then if I start doing that activity, that's what I decrease my earning potential to. So, for example, if I can hire a virtual assistant, and we'll just use a virtual assistant for example, if I can hire a high level virtual assistant with experience for $12 an hour to shop all my renewals, for $12 an hour, that means that if I pick up that activity, that means my earning potential goes from $30 to $40 an hour if you're making six figures a year, 100 a year, to now to $12 an hour. So not even by half. I'm dropping 30, down to 30% of what my earning potential is by doing these activities that I can hire out. So it's drastic. It's a game changer. It's the book that changed my life was Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty sure he was at a ClickFunnels event when I met him. Um,
Yes.
that's such an interesting concept now that you bring that up. And guys, here's an easy W-2 kind of math for a lot of you if you come from the W-2 world. If you make $12 an hour, there's 2,000 working hours in a year. That's 24,000 of a yearly salary. So if you're
Yes.
doing $100 an hour work, that's 200 grand a year you're making. The moment you drop down to $12 an hour work, you're making 24 grand a year. Congratulations. You just took
Yes.
180 grand a year pay cut. Be
Yep.
proud. Anyway,
100%.
so just listen to Ben, okay? He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. So let's get into what you really wanted to talk about because I'm very curious. You guys before this, he's like, yeah, so I broke both of my legs. Like, stop right there, save the story. So let's hear this, man. Give me the backstory, how you learned it or earned it. Like, walk me through the full thing. What happened? What the hell happened here?
Oh my gosh. So I'll try to condense the story because it could go on for hours.
Don't try to remove any of the details. Just if we have to stay over, we stay over. I'm here to listen to
Yeah.
you. So
Sounds good, man. So I was a firefighter EMT for 2 years, right as I graduated high school. I just did what my dad did. I did what everybody in my hometown did. You kind of get a job, you do the whole thing. So I did that for 2 years, and I found that I just wasn't happy. That I was one of those people that was inherently born with drive and hunger. I wanted to conquer. I wanted to do a lot of great things. So the next best step that I saw for myself was enlisting into the Army. I joined the Army with what's called an 18 X-ray contract, which is a Special Forces candidate to become a Green Beret. I go through that pipeline for a year, go to basic, go to AIT, go to infantry school, go through airborne school, and then I go through SOP-C, which is the Special Operations Prep course, and then I go to what's called selection to get selected to be a Green Beret. I go through that course. They were like, hey, you're a great candidate. You're a little young. I was 21 at the time. They were like, we're going to send you to what's called RASP. We're going to put you in the 75th Ranger Regiment, which is the #1 direct action force at the time against terrorism. They ran more combat operations than anybody else on the planet during the global war on terrorism. So I was like, okay, sounds pretty intense, like could be pretty high level. I show up to this course. It was my entire identity. I was completely like, this is what I'm going to do. Week 3 of this course, of the 8-week course that I was going through, which is a very brutal course, brutal. I mean, the whole point is to break you down to absolutely nothing so they can rebuild you up with the ideas and the beliefs that they want you to have. Week 3 of this course, I was going strong. I was the class leader. I was, really owning that position. I ended up shattering my right leg. My tib fib broke in 13 places. I tore a bunch of stuff in my left knee. I cracked my left femur and cracked my right hip. This happened during a land navigation training iteration where I fell off of basically a cliff. And I knew when I landed that I broke my leg. And I had this moment where I had to face reality of like, hey, the dream that you've had for 2 years is now, it just went away. Like there's no way I could continue. I walked back to what's called the TOC, which is the Tactical Operations Center that we were working out of, which was like 5 miles on a broke leg. And I got there, and I remember I get in the back of this van because one of my instructors was like, hey, you look like you just got shot, brother. I was like, yeah, like I fell off of a draw. My legs basically not working. And I got in the back of this car, and I had this moment where everything that I thought that I was gone. And I'll never forget that instructor's name. I'm not going to say his name just for security, but he looked at me and told me, he said, there's no rejection in life. There's only redirection. If you want to be great, you're great regardless of your environment. And I just remember sitting there and I was like, all right, we're starting from the bottom. And so they moved me to Fort Lee, Virginia, which is where I spent 10 months literally sitting in a 10 by 10 room, couldn't get up. People brought food to my door, and I sat in that room for 10 months. It was the equivalent to what I thought prison would be. As I'm there, one of my best friend passes away. He was also in the military. And so he passes away. And I remember I got a phone call whenever I found out that he had passed away, and it shattered my world. Like, I mean, I'm one of those guys, like my friends and my like loyalty is everything to me. Friendship, brotherhood, like I was in the Army. So like that's everything. And so losing him was drastic in my life. When I lost him, they had a fundraiser where they were raising money for his family and for different things that they were going to do. And in the Army, you don't get paid very much if you don't know. So I literally had no money to be able to give my friend. And I just remember standing there and I was looking at myself directly in the mirror, like kind of leaning on my left leg so I couldn't stand. And like I remember standing there and I cried and I said, I will never feel this way again. If anybody ever needs anything from Ben Williams, I want to be in a place that I can provide it for them, whether it be money, being an emotional support, or if it can be, if I can guide them financially, or if I can guide them as a business owner. And I didn't really understand what that would look like at the time, but I wanted to be able to find the information that I could truly help people live the life that they wanted to live, because now I understood that tomorrow is not promised. Your friends being there tomorrow is not guaranteed. So I had this come to Jesus meeting, if you will. So I decided in that moment that would never happen again. So moving through that process, a lot of emotional healing for myself, and I ended up getting out of the military. Just basically in my mind, I never allowed the belief that I could never walk again enter into my mind. Like I had doctors tell me that, I had different surgeons tell me that I was going to need these operations. I never got surgery. I never sat in a wheelchair ever. I just crutched my way around until I could walk again. And that took right at 10 months before I could walk again. It was it's funny how you, when you look back at an experience in the moment, you're like, this is terrible. But looking back at it now, I'm like, thank God my legs broke. Thank God my legs broke. Because that is the foundation of rock bottom that I built absolutely everything else of my life on. So moving through that experience, I did a job as an apartment complex property manager. This was 4 years ago, making like $40,000 a year. At the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm rich. And after that, I decided I was going to learn more about real estate and get into wholesaling real estate. So I did that for like 6 months. I made like 60 grand and I was like, holy, this just changed my life. Like, holy shit, like this is real. Through that process, I ended up meeting these people that owned a real estate brokerage. They partnered me in to recruit and train salespeople, because I always had a knack to sell. Like I could just articulate very well and I could connect with people on pretty easily. So I trained that. And then through this process, I was able to see that people would put on blinders the second they would enter into business that they believe would change their life. And so they would put these blinders on of like, I don't need help. I need to be the person that does everything, because they have this belief that they're the best at absolutely everything. And I was the same way. I saw myself get caught in the same cycle. So I would see these people and they would go generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And they were like, this is it. I have cracked a code. I am the best. Nobody needs to do this parts of my business. I'll do it all. And it wasn't until I met one of my mentors he was making $1 million a year at the time selling real estate. I lived with him in his house for 3 months one summer in 2023. And it blew my mind. This guy would literally work maybe 2 hours a day, and everything else he delegated. He would generate leads. He all he did was generate leads. The second a lead was generated, he handed it off, and then every other step was handled by somebody else. And I was like, no, this is it. This is what people get into entrepreneurship. This is why people become salespeople, is because when they signed up for whatever opportunity they took, they had this vision of themselves being able to choose what they wanted to do, wear what they wanted to wear, eat what they wanted to eat, live where they wanted to live, talk to who, all these things. It was no longer about the money. It was about the freedom. And it was like it unlocked it in my mind of like, this is actually what people are after. So moving through that and now learning this experience, I understood the power of delegation. Then I read the book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I also read Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Both of those guys are fantastic entrepreneurs that have a great way of articulating leverage. And through that process, I meet one of my good friends who was starting a virtual assistant staffing agency. And I was like, yo, this is my brand. This is my brand. I want to help people live the life that they want to live by delegating the tasks that they want to do, find the activity that generates the income, and staff out everything else.
It sounds like you're helping people
So
get away from doing what they already don't want to do.
exactly. That's what I do.
That's for, and what you said was very interesting. If you look at business guy, you hear about these people making $1 million a year that you get close to. Proximity is power. When you put yourself in environments like that, what's funny about a dude is it's always, if we're being real, there's always the D measuring contest. We're always seeing
Yeah.
who's bigger and whatnot.
For sure.
And that doesn't mean literal. We're not going to the bathrooms. And if you do that, you're a weirdo.
You're a weirdo if you do that.
We're not in middle school locker rooms anymore. You don't have to go do that. But it's always a form of peacocking. So, and it just exposes you to a new light. Like, you mean I'm doing 40 hours of work every single day? Yeah, I said that right. 40 hours of work a day, and I'm still making nowhere near as much as this dude working 2 hours. It's
Yep.
because if you look at successful people in the military, it's because they can see the battlefield.
Yes.
They can see how to deploy systems and partition resources, deploy people into specific areas or pockets of leverage. And so that was the thing I heard from Mark Joyner, I believe, his sergeant
Yeah.
told him what's the most important thing. And the people were saying communication, loyalty, all this. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? Go talk to the bad guys? Let me know how that is after he shoots your whole squad. It's like you
Yep.
have to be able to see the battlefield. If you read
Yes.
Sun Tzu's Art of War, you have to be able to see the battlefield. So I'm really glad you're saying this. This is quite beautiful, and it's true. It's very true.
It is. It is. Sun Tzu has a really good quote that says, "Every battle is won before it is fought." And we trained that way. Like that. I mean, I truly believe that I was raised in the Army. Like once you enter at a young age, it changes your mind. And the one of the quotes from the 75th Ranger Regiment is, "Every battle is won before it is fought." So it's the way that you train, it's the systems you create, it's the process that you create, and it's the same way in business. If you want to be successful, you have to create a system of a winning, successful business. You can't have you like mom and pop in a truck and think you guys are going to go make $1 million a year. You have to get realistic and go, who do I need on my team to help me get to XYZ goal?
Yeah, it goes back into who, not how. And it's just, if we're going to apply the battle is won before it's fought to sales, here's a tip for you guys. Treat your customers as if they already bought.
Yes.
What a concept. What a concept. It's the assumptive close, guys. It's just, it's not magic. It's just, it's math. And for a lot of you that don't know math, math looks like magic. But when you know math, Ben, math just looks like math.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
So, dude, this has been really valuable for the agents and agency owners listening who want to learn more about what you do, your virtual assistants who are qualified, ready to go. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
A good fit to work with us is truly any business owner who is to the point where they're going, I understand that the way that I'm doing my business is not going to get me to the next level. They have got to the point where they're at least generating enough income where they understand they have a business that's established, but to go to the next level of making 200 a year, 250 a year, and breaking out of that what I call where men go to die. It's where you make from $100,000 to $150,000 a year. People stop and just die there because they think this is all that's possible. I want a business owner that is going, I want to grow as fast as I possibly can, and I'll do whatever I need to do. If once you get to that point, we can build a system. We can staff VAs. We're implementing different AI bots that we can absolutely scale a business. So that's what I'm looking for.
Where can they go to find that or get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So our website is scalemyops.com. Or you can reach out directly to me. I don't mind plugging my phone number. You can give me a call, honestly. My phone number
Guys, this is scaleMyOps.com. You can just come here, click on industry guides, insurance, or book a call. So there you guys go. Go right here. It'll be in the link in the description. You can book a strategy call, get a free growth plan, and go check this out. So is that you?
That's Tyler. That's my business partner.
Oh, I was about to say, it looked like you. It was like your hair was just shorter. Okay.
Yeah,
you want to plug your phone number, whatever you want to do for these people to come find you.
Absolutely. My phone number is 854
Someone's already calling you.
My phone number is 854-253-0467.
All right, guys. Will you? Yeah.
More than happy.
Go talk to him if you just want to hear about his broken legs or just want to talk to him about scaling your agency, whatever it is, getting a virtual assistant. So we're going to wrap up here. Thanks so much, Ben, for sharing your insights on what insurance agents should be doing, which is delegating things they already don't desire to do and spend all their time selling because that's what makes you money. And this is the industry, guys, commission. If you don't eat, you don't kill.
Yep.
If backwards as well, you don't kill, you don't eat. So If you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful insurance agents and agency owners who are doing at least $10,000 a month in commissions and have unique strategies to share. So you can apply at the link below, down in the second link in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop chasing leads and start booking qualified calls with people who actually want to buy insurance, grab our fee booked and banked blueprint at writemorepolicies.com/blueprint. Until next time, keep that commission machine building.